What's up, everybody? Kalisha here with an impromptu video. As you can see, I'm not in my normal setup. I pray that you guys can hear me without having my microphone. But I was having a conversation with one of my sons today, and that's what prompted this video. What I want to help you to understand that love doesn't always feel like love. Okay? And this is what everyone needs to realize and recognize, that love doesn't always feel good. Sometimes, it's challenging. Sometimes things are said, as long as they're said in grace, they may be offensive. They may hurt your feelings, but it's all out of love. If you see your loved one, family, friend, anyone who you're attached to in any kind of capacity where there's love, you're responsible for that person. If you see them going down a road that doesn't look good, if you see something, say something. That's what we have to do. If you love that person, obviously you got to be delicate with it. You may even need to pray about it before you have this conversation. But yes, you are your brother's keeper. You are. So many times we try to turn a blind eye to bad behavior just because we don't want to offend. We don't want to rock the boat. We don't want to start anything. We don't want to argue. But again, if you love someone, shouldn't you say something? And what you have to say may be hard for that person to digest. Nonetheless, you are responsible for that person. I was reminded of a story. Now, you guys know, if you've been here for a while, and if you're new here, I'm so sorry. My name is Kalisha. I just started rambling. Welcome to Closing Open Wounds with yours truly. So the thing is this, I was reminded of a story, and if you've been with me some time, you know that my mother suffered drug addiction and alcoholism for all of my life. Both of my parents, but my mother in particular. In this story, we had I had to step in, and I had to try to get her enrolled in some type of program. And in this program, it was a drug and alcohol program, and it was about an hour or so away, and she had to do 30 days. Now, I had to admit her into a psychiatric ward because she had been drinking so much. She had been hallucinating and it was a mess. It was very, very hard to see. She was fighting my stepfather, her husband, and he called me in a panic and said, "Kalisha, you got to come get your mom." And I was dealing with a lot at that time, but hey, that's my mom. She didn't raise me, but hey, that's my mom, right? So I did what anyone would do. I called around. I got some medical care for her. They got her. And while she was in the psychiatric ward for 3 days under evaluation, I was able to, with the nurses and the staff, they were able to help me get her into a 30-day program. Obviously to address her drug and alcohol abuse. So we get her in this program. We take the hour and some change drive. It was me, my grandparents. It was me, my grandmother, and my stepdad, and of course my mom. We go to drop her off. The facility looked very nice. It looked beautiful. It had a beautiful scenery. They had a nice program. Obviously, they had to give them different sedatives and things like that because, when you go through withdrawal, it ain't pretty. I've never gone through it, but I've seen it and I can imagine. We put her in this facility and we go. About a week, 2 weeks in, my mom is complaining and she wants to break out. She wants a jailbreak. And, she is grown. I am over her case. So, they call me. They call my stepdad and, ask us what do we want to do. So we had to have a meeting with with her counselor. We drive back up to the program. It's about 2 weeks in. and she wants to get out of there, and she wants to state why she wants to leave. So I remember going into a room with my stepdad, my grandmother, myself, my mom, and the counselor. And everyone went around the room as to why, what did we think about my mom discharging herself? So first was my stepdad, and of course he missed her. They had a toxic relationship. I mean, but they stayed married for almost 22 years before she passed. And he missed her, tears in his eyes, and I love her, and I think she'll get better. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, okay. And then I get to my grandmother, and that's my grandmother's child, her beloved. And, no one wants to see their child hurting and in that type of situation. So my grandmother's like, well, maybe she needs to be with family, yada, yada, yada. And they come to me, and I'm just, the counselor asked me, what I think. No, she needs to stay. She's sick. All of my life, my mother had been in and out of programs. Bless God, in the 90s, she was able to get off the hard drugs, the crack, cocaine, heroin, whatever. She was able to get off of that, but that just turned the heat up on more alcohol and marijuana, So they get to me, and I'm just like, no, she needs to stay, and she needs to be here. And, I'm pleading my case is totally different from, the people before me. And my mom turns to me, and she's just like, no, she's just upset because I didn't raise her and I wasn't there for her. And I'm like, Mom, that's not it. I love you. I love you. That's why I think you need to stay. Like, and then in that moment, now mind you, this is my mom. I have always been more of a parent to my mom than an actual child, being the firstborn and everything. Attributes to my hyper independence, okay? But it was like, this is love. Love doesn't always feel good. You need to stick up for what is right at any cost. I'm not saying, be mean and be abusive and talk down to them. No, with love and kindness has God drawn us. So we have to have our words laced with grace. I get it, but you must say something. I don't know who this message is for. I just hopped on. I'm Netflixing and chilling, and I just felt like I needed to tell you this. If this message is for you, you are your brother's keeper. Say something if you feel them, going down the wrong path, try to help them. And the thing about it is, some people don't know how to accept love. That's a real thing. Some people do not know how to accept love. They don't know what it is to be loved. If they didn't feel it in their childhood for whatever reason, if they didn't feel it in the adolescence and growing up in their teenage years, they do not know how to digest what real love is and what real love feels like. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love is all of those things. But love will correct you. God chases who he loves. We have this responsibility. If it's your children, don't just play nice. When you do that, you enable them. I feel as though for many years my mom was enabled. There were times where I begged my stepfather, who also drinks, he's still alive. No shade, it's fine, do what you want to do. He can hold his. But my mother, as small as she was, she could not. And I would beg him, you're going to have to stop drinking so she can stop drinking. And the sad thing about it is, when he would try, my mom would pitch a fit, cuss him out, or if he didn't get it, somebody was going to go get her some liquor. And it got to a point where he just kept giving it to her because he didn't want to hear her mouth or whatever his reasons is, whatever it is. But we need to really realize what love is. It doesn't always feel good. Okay. And I'm not saying what you're up against is going to be easy. Oh, it's not. Godspeed to you right now. It's not going to be easy, but it is necessary. We have to help each other. So that's all I want to tell you. I'm not going to keep you long. I'm praying for everyone. If you logged onto this message, if this message found you, I'm praying for you. If this is something that you are going through, may God be with you and order your steps and word your mouth with everything. But don't let your loved ones just go down a path and you say nothing. Nothing. Just going along to get along, just to keep the peace. I am even, reminded, and I feel bad for people that are in these marriages where there are drug and alcohol abuse. Like, what do you do? I pray you find help. I pray that you find a community, an outlet, people that can help you and your spouse get into the programs that can help them. And prayer always works. Okay. I love you guys. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I need 500 subscribers by my birthday in October, and I need you to help me. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.